The third point is bottom-up instigated change. And I think vocational tutors. I think about the learners they work with. We started with observing vocational tutors at Wintec and found that they were actually doing quite a number of things that were effective and that were good in the literacy and numeracy field. And we started by acknowledging them, acknowledge them as experts in their field and making that the starting point. Because by acknowledging them, one is respecting them, and by respecting them, one is actually building that trust. Now we can go anywhere at Wintec. In the first 3 months, and I'm thinking 2009, it was rather difficult for us in the first 3 months because some of them didn't want to talk to us. Now they wave and shout at us and would like us to come and visit them. So the conversations have changed. So that bottom-up instigated change is a key lever for us at Wintec. I think one also has to acknowledge, and this is the fourth point, is to acknowledge that there are competing priorities in organizations. There are 50 projects running at Wintec at this moment. So there are competing priorities, so it's important to have this relational meaning making, to be involved in these relationships and to acknowledge that there are these competing priorities. The fifth point is to use project management support. We are lucky to have a project leaders network. The director of strategic projects, Cheryl Morgan, and the change manager, if you listen to those roles, then within the structure there are people who are concerned about change and who have an overview of the 50 projects and where literacy and numeracy fits in. So using the project leaders network, and we meet fortnightly, we actually take a look at problems on all those projects and we try to use it as a problem-solving process. Point number 6 is more at the interpersonal level, and I didn't know how to phrase it because I think there's so much ambiguity around it, and it's avoiding negative communications. Constructivists refer to bow ties. In other words, mutually reinforcing negatives held by the participants in the conversation. So whenever we notice those negatives, we just step back immediately so that it does not escalate. It has been reduced considerably as the project has progressed, but initially those bow ties were definitely there. Sometimes we would come out of a meeting in the first month of the project, or several of those meetings, and I remember on one occasion, a team member said to me, "That was cold, icy cold." You know what I mean? Of course, those relationships have now changed, but we did not respond to it. We did not go to the head of school. We didn't do any of that. We simply defined our roles as supportive, and we consistently remained within those roles. And then, of course, there are covert processes in the workplace if Marshak is to be believed. And I think perhaps that is good reading for the start of a project, the covert processes that occur in the workplace. And I think it is entitled by that 2003 or 2004 publication. How to respond to covert processes. I think perhaps we should also look at Kubler-Ross's grief cycling or grief cycle. It is loss. Change is loss because identities change. Literacy and numeracy issues, strategies, what we've been doing, all of this has changed the identity of each individual. Role definitions have changed. New practices have to be in place. So one has to be tolerant of sympathetic even, empathetic. That is perhaps a better word. And the last point, and this is perhaps we should do more at Wintec, and that is vision. What is the ultimate vision? What do we want to produce? So, yes, those are the points that in response to that question.
Fantastic. Thank you, Wilfred. Wow. I mean, I could see so many people writing things down, taking notes. Really, yeah, fantastic. Thank you.